The Passport Poker Club presents the Guide to Winning No Limit Texas Hold'em Poker. This is Lesson 1. The Basics. Here we will go over the 5 tenets of poker. The cards. The kinds of hands. The types of hands. The hand ranks. The language of betting. The deal. Position. Effective raises, and effective calls. And the pot odds needed to call. The Passport Poker Club Guide to No Limit Texas Hold'em Poker. Lesson 1. The Passport Poker Club presents rules to win by a beginner's guide to Texas No Limit Hold'em Poker. Sayings to remember. Aggressive poker is winning poker. Aggressive poker is winning poker. Aggressive poker is winning poker. And so, if first in the pot, raise. The average winning hand in Hold'em is 2 pair. Never show your cards. Be disciplined and stay with the system. If you cannot make the call, you have 2 options: fold or raise. The 5 tenets of poker are 1. Aggressiveness, 2. Patience, 3. Observance, 4. Courage, and 5. Knowledge. There are 4 suits: spades, hearts, diamonds and clubs. Each suit has 13 cards. Ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, deuce. For a total of 52 cards. Types of cards. High cards. Ace, king, queen and jack are high cards. Mid cards. 10, 9, 8, 7 are mid cards. Low cards. 6, 5, 4, 3, deuce are low cards. Broadway cards are cards in the set of 5 cards ace through 10. The wheel cards are cards in the set of 5 cards ace through 5. Starting cards are called whole cards. There are 3 kinds of starting hands associated with whole cards. Starting hands are either a pair, suited, or off-suited. A pair hand is 2 whole cards with the same denomination. Suited cards are 2 cards of the same suit. Off-suited cards is everything else. The cards neither match each other or are the same suit. There are 3 types of starting card hands. They, along with position and stack, determine what you are going to do when it's your initial turn to play. Big hands. You will raise. Drawing hands. You will call. Crap or diaper hands. You will fold. What are big hands? There are 6 big hands. A pair of aces. A pair of kings. A pair of queens. A pair of jacks. An ace and a king. And an ace and a queen. These are your big hands. And when you have them as your whole cards, you will raise. What are drawing hands? Drawing hands or speculative hands are hands that need help from the flop and runners. These include medium and low pocket pairs. 2 cards of the same denomination, tens through deuces. This gives you an advantage at the start of the hand, as a pair of deuces will beat an ace-king if nothing else matches on the board. If your pocket pair are higher than a 10, then you have a big hand and should raise. Next are suited connectors with up to 2 gaps. 2 cards of the same suit, so you can hope for flush draw, and connected with a gap of no more than 2, so you can also get a possible straight. Another drawing hand is ace suited. 1 card being an ace. The second card with the same suit as the ace. This hand can give you the nut flush. Broadway suited. 2 cards of the same suit, both a 10 or higher. You have the possibility of a royal flush, the highest hand in the game. You also have a straight or a flush possibility. And finally, off-Broadway connected. Here both cards are in the Broadway range, ace through 10, but not the same suit. As long as they are next to each other in denomination or connected, such as a queen and jack or a king and queen. Even jack and 10. We call it off-Broadway because they are not of the same suit, and so not as fine as a premier show. You can still get a high straight, but will rarely get any larger hand. Hand ranks. In Texas Hold'em, you are dealt 2 whole cards, hidden from other players. 5 community cards are dealt face up on the table, which all players can use. You make your best ranked 5 card hand from these 7 cards, ignoring the other 2. These are the ranks of winning hands. The highest rank wins the pot. 1. The royal flush. Best hand in the game. 5 cards of the same suit. Ace through 10. 2. The straight flush. 5 suited cards with connected denominations, or in a row. 3. 4 of a kind. Also called a case. 4 cards of the same denomination. 4. A full house. Also known as a boat. 3 of a kind plus a pair. 5. A flush. Any 5 cards of the same suit. If one of these is the ace, you have the nut flush. 6. A straight. Any 5 cards with connected denominations, or in a row. The highest straight is ace through 10. The lowest is 5 through ace. An ace is either the highest card or the lowest, but not both. You can't make a straight with 3 deuce ace king queen. 7. 3 of a kind or a set. 3 cards of the same denomination. 8. 2 pair. Since you only use 5 cards to make your hand, 3 pair is not allowed. 9. A pair. 10. High card. These are the only recognized winning ranks. A player once thought they were winning a hand with a Dutch straight. Evens or odds. 5 non-face cards with 1 gap between each. They had this rule in their home game for years. Each legitimate establishment should have the legitimate hand ranks posted in their poker room. The basics, the language of betting. Before you can start playing, you have to learn the language of betting. Fortunately, there aren't many words. Every time the action gets to you, you're going to have to do one of 5 things. Number 1. Fold. Lay your hand down and exit the pot. Number 2. Call. Match the bet that is in front of you. If there is no bet in front of you, you can. Number 3. Check or pass the action to the next player. Number 4. Bet. If you are the first person to act, or, number 5. Raise someone else's bet. The deal. In Texas Hold'em there are 5 community cards dealt in the center of the table shared by each of the players. They are called the board. Almost every Hold'em game played today incorporates what is called a blind. A big blind is whatever the table rules determine to be a full bet. And a small blind. A fraction of that full bet. Usually half. Once the blinds have been posted, play proceeds as follows. 1. 2 cards, called the whole cards, are dealt face down to each player. 2. The player sitting to the left of the big blind, the position known as under the gun, has the option to call or raise the blind. Betting continues around the table. You have to pay to play. If you don't call a bet or subsequent raises, you have to fold, and forfeit your chance to win the pot. Some rooms allow variations on betting called straddles. Ask your dealer to explain if this happens and you are unfamiliar with the house rules. 3. Once the round of betting has been completed, a group of 3 cards, better known as the flop, is laid face up on the table. 4. Another round of betting is initiated by the player sitting closest to the left of the dealer. Often the small blind. Unlike the opening round, you don't have to bet. You can opt to check, instead. If someone else bets, however, you will have to call or raise to stay in. 5. Another community card, also known as the turn or 4th straight, is dealt. Followed by another round of betting, once again initiated by the person sitting closest to the dealer's left who still happens to be in the hand or in the pot. 6. A final community card. The river, or 5th straight, is placed on the table face up. A final round of betting ensues. 7. Showdown. The best hand wins. The pot is distributed to the winner or winners. 8. The dealer button moves to the left and the cycle repeats. Table seating and positions. Poker room tables usually have a dealer and bank seat in the center of one side of the table and 9 or 10 seats around the table. Your poker room host will likely give you a table and seat number when it's your turn to join a room of poker players. You may have to ask where your table is located, if you are unfamiliar to the room and the tables are not clearly marked. Seating. The seat to the immediate left of the table dealer is seat 1. To the left of that seat is seat 2. And so on around the table. If there is an open seat, you may request a change of seat to the table dealer and he or the host will let you know when you can change seats. The table dealer deals cards in a clockwise manner, starting to the left of the dealer button. Position: your position is determined in the opposite direction of the deal, or counterclockwise. Starting with the big blind as position 1. The small blind is position 2. The dealer button is position 3. Position 4 is to the right of the dealer button. And so on to the end of seated players. The reason for this is this: there might not be a full table of 9 or 10 players. Players might go away for lunch or be on a break from playing. If this occurs, just skip the missing seats when determining what your position is. As the deal moves clockwise with every hand, your position changes every hand, generally increasing. We name 4 groups of these positions: blinds, big blind and small blind. Positions 1 and 2. Late position, also known as the office. The dealer button 3 and position 4. Middle position. These include positions 5, 6, and 7. Early position, which include positions 8, 9, and 10. The position to the left of the big blind is under the gun and acts first at the start of the hand. When it's your turn to act, you can raise, call or fold. Effective raise: after the first round of betting you want to have only 1 or 2 people in the pot with you for the next round of betting. An effective raise is a raise that leaves only 1 or 2 opponents in the hand at the end of that round of betting. If you keep getting 3 or more callers to your bet, you need to increase your effective raise. If everyone repeatedly folds when you make your effective raise, lower it a little next time. An effective raise is a raise that leaves only 1 or 2 opponents in the hand. Third caller in the pot and the effective call. You cannot call unless you will be the third caller or greater in the pot. So you can't be the first to call. Either you raise or fold. You want to get into hands that are advantageous for you. An effective call is the highest amount that a call is still advantageous. This amount is 5% or 1/20th of your stack. Stack your chips so you can figure this out easily. If you have a drawing hand and the bet in front of you is less than your effective call, and you will be third caller or more in the pot, then you can call. If not, then you will have to fold or raise. This is what goes into pre-flop betting. In summary, when the whole cards are dealt, you should know your effective call, 5% or 1/20th of your stack, and the table's effective raise, a raise to get only 1 or 2 callers. As you look at your whole cards, you will determine if it is a big hand. If it is a big hand, you will raise. If it is not a big hand, you will determine if it is a drawing hand. Do you have a middle or low pocket pair? Are your cards suited and connected with no more than 2 gaps? Or are they Broadway cards, or off-Broadway cards with no gaps? Is the bet smaller than your effective call? Will you be at least the third caller in the pot? If so, then you can call. If the answer is no to any of these possibilities, then you have a diaper or a crap hand and you must fold or bluff or raise. Aggressive poker is winning poker. Be patient, be observant, have courage, and know the hand rankings. Know your position. Know the system. Your whole cards will be either a pair, suited, or off-suited. They will give you a big hand, drawing hand, or a diaper hand. If you want to be first in the pot, raise. Never show your cards unless asked by the dealer. Be disciplined and stay with the system. If you cannot make the call, you have 2 options: fold or raise. After the first round of betting concludes, the dealer collects the chips bet into a pile called the pot, and collects the cards of the players that folded. This pile called the pot is the treasure trove everyone is trying to win. And it will grow with 2 more rounds of betting. Betting, raising, calling, checking and folding rules are different and much simpler after the flop, when the community cards are dealt on the table. The dealer deals 3 community cards face up on the board in front of him. This is called the flop. Betting starts to the left of the dealer button instead of the big blind from now on. This gives the dealer button, and the cutoff or 4th position players in the late group, sometimes called the office, the advantage of seeing what everyone bets before he has to make a play. A second round of betting ensues, Folded cards are gathered by the dealer and the pot increases. The next two community cards are called runners. If you hear the phrase "he went runner to beat my flush," they mean the player had the winning hand until the turn and the river cards came on the board. The dealer deals the fourth community card called the turn. The third round of betting ensues, cards gathered, and the pot increases. The dealer deals the fifth community card called the river. A final round of betting ensues, then if there is more than one person in the pot, the showdown comes and players show their cards. To remain in the hand after the flop, you are looking for 2 pair or better to raise or 8 outs or more to call, or raise. What is an out? An out is a card that can come on a runner or later straight that will improve your hand. If you made your 2 pair or better, you raise. How much? 75% of the pot or half, then an additional half of that half again. Simple. Easy peasy. 75% of the pot. If someone bets before you and you want to raise over them or re-raise, raise 3 times their bet. If either amount is more than half of what you got left, you have the option to go all in. Bet 75% of the pot. Raise 3 times your opponent's bet. Them's the rules. You can forget about effective bet or effective call. That's before the flop. Now it's bet 75% of the pot and call if you have pot odds. If you haven't made your 2 pair or better hand, you have to have 8 outs or better. Why are pot odds so important to call? They're the odds that you will make 2 pair or better with the turn or the river. If you need only one card in the deck of 52, your odds are 1 in 52. Actually a little less. You have 2 whole cards in your hand and can see 3 cards face up on the board, so only 47 cards remain hidden. A 1 in 47 chance that your card will turn up on the turn. And 1 chance in 46 cards that it will be seen on the river. You must win 46 times the amount you call to make your call profitable. The ratio of the amount you call to what you can win in the pot is called the pot odds. If there is $98 in the pot after a player bets $2, then the pot will be $100 for you to win if you make a call of $2. This is a ratio of 100 to 2 or 50 to 1 pot odds. If the chance of you hitting a winning card, 2 pair or better, is greater than the pot odds, then you can profitably make that call. The average winning hand in poker is 2 pair or better. Here are the outs and their chance of hitting the cards you need. We call this the pot odds to call. 2 outs. 2 cards in the deck that will help your hand. 1 in 23 odds. 4%. This is the odd your pocket pair will hit a set or 3 of a kind. So your call amount must win you a pot of 23 times that call amount. If you have a pair of 4s, there are only 2 other 4s in the deck, for you to hit your 3 of a kind. Which is better than 2 pair. The minimum average winning hand you will get that card once every 23 times you try. 4 outs. 4 cards left in the deck that will help your hand. 1 in 11 odds. 9% chance to hit a Gutshot straight draw. A Gutshot straight is 4 cards that need one specific card denomination to make a straight. If you have Queen, Jack, 9, 8 and need that 10 to complete a Gutshot straight, there are only 4 10s in the deck and you will miss it 10 times out of 11 tries. If you have Ace through 4, only a 5 will fill your straight. 5 outs. 5 cards in the deck that will help you make your hand. 1 in 9 odds. 11% having a pair. This is chance of making 2 pair or trips. Your chances of making 2 pair or 3 of a kind with 1 pair is once every 9 tries. 6 outs. 6 card in the deck that will help you make your hand. 1 in 7 odds. 14% chance of having 2 overcards to make 1 pair of these cards. Overcards are cards in your hand that are higher than the 3 dealt on the table. Even if you make a pair with one of your overcards, you are still have not reached 2 pair or greater. 8 outs. 2 cards in any 4 suit. Approximately 1 in 5 odds. 20% chance to make an open-ended straight draw. An open-ended straight is when you have 4 cards in a row and just need a card on either end to complete the straight. With a 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 4 aces and 4 sixes that will make your straight. This is the amount of outs you need or better to call after the flop. Just remember that 4 out of 5 tries you will not make the straight. 9 outs. 9 cards to improve your hand. Approximately 1 in 4 odds. 25% chance to hit a flush draw. There are 13 cards in each suit. If you have 4 suited cards, that leaves 9 left of that suit in the deck or other players' hands to make your flush. A fair chance you'll hit a card in that suit. 12 outs. 12 cards that will improve your hand. Approximately 1 in 3 odds. 33% chance to make either flush draw or a gutshot straight draw. 9 cards in your suit will give you a flush and 4 cards for a gutshot straight draw. So 13 outs, but one of the cards needed for the straight is already counted in the flush cards. Thus 12 outs. A good chance to succeed. 15 outs. Approximately 1 in 2 odds. 50% chance to make either a flush draw or an open-ended straight draw. 9 cards needed for the flush. 4 cards on either end, so 8 cards for the straight draw is 17 cards, but 2 cards are already counted in the flush draw. A great chance of hitting. You should probably call no matter what your opponents bet, unless you feel your opponent has a full house or better. These odds and outs are important. Learn them. Betting is all about having the best odds to win. The ratio of your call to the pot should be the same as the odds your chance to hit 2 pair or better to be profitable. So if you have a pot of $400 and you have to put in $100 to call, your pot odds are 1 to 5. And you should have a 1 in 5 chance to hit your 2 pair or better. A open-ended straight draw has 8 outs, which rounds down to 1 in 5 chance to hit, so you can call $100 in a pot of $500 if you have an open-ended straight draw. Why do we need to be the third caller in the pot? Because we have to have 8 outs or better to continue calling. The pot is $100 and someone bet $75 or 75% of the pot. Pot is now $175. The first caller has to put in $75 to win the pot of $250. Roughly a 1-to-3 ratio. They can call if they have 12 or more outs. 12 cards that will get them 2 pair or better. The second caller has to put in $75 to win a pot of $325. A 1-to-4 ratio. They can call if they have 9 or more outs. The third caller has to put in $75 to win a pot of $400. A 1-to-5 ratio. Now you can call if you have 8 or more outs. So if the first bet is anywhere between 2/3 up to 100% of the pot, it works out that you need to be the third caller in the pot to call with 8 outs. Knowing the approximate total of the pot will help you see if you have the correct pot odds to call. Shamus's Passport Poker Club.